Welcome to another Easy Build video, where you can learn how to build a professional grade website quickly and easily without any prior experience or coding required. I'll be adding new content to this channel on a regular basis, so if you want to keep up with the latest website building tips and tools, just click the like and subscribe buttons below the video.
All right, continuing on. Now the fun part, we get to actually set up WordPress here. So you can get to your hosting account several different ways in here. One is by hovering over this emblem I just mentioned and click go to cPanel, or simply go to your hosting list on the left menu, and you'll also see a link right there. So you want to go to your cPanel. And now you're going to see a different screen. And this is a different dashboard than your actual Namecheap dashboard. And this is where we're going to install WordPress. And a quick note, I already pulled this up. This is the domain that I'm going to be building out. And you should see a screen something like this after you register your domain and set up hosting. It's just going to be a page like this with very little information. That is normal. Once we get WordPress set up, you'll start seeing changes after that. All right. So in your cPanel, right here under scripts, you want to click on WordPress. And takes you to this page. If you have multiple installations of WordPress, it will allow you to manage them from here. What we're going to do is a fresh install. And want to make sure to use the HTTPS version. And if it's not showing up, once again, it probably means that your SSL certificate is still in that pending status. So if that is the case, if you don't see HTTPS right here, just wait, like I said, another 10 to 20 minutes and come back and check again. But you do want to pick the secure version. That's what gives you this little lock up here. You definitely want that. And if you're going to build an e-commerce site, you have to have that on there. Now, using the www before your domain, that is just a personal preference. There's no advantage or disadvantage either way. I set up all my sites without it. It's shorter. So I am picking the non-www version, and I am actually building out this site right here, easybuild.works. This right here is very important. You want to leave this blank, and you do not want anything in this little box right here, because basically what that means is people will have to navigate to easybuild.works/WP to view your site, and you don't want that. You want it on your root domain, so leave this empty. The version, you're just going to leave the most recent. It's usually pre-populated with that. Go ahead and fill in your site name. I'm just going to put my domain name for the moment. Description, this is just like a tagline. You can just type in whatever you want. You can go back and change this at any time in the WordPress settings. So this is not super important at this point in time. You don't want to enable any of these options right here. And it's going to pre-populate an admin name and password. I'm just going to leave all that right now. I can go back and change that later. It gives you a list of plugins that you can install along with WordPress. You can always go back at any time and add additional plugins after you've installed WordPress. So if you don't get something installed here, that's completely fine. I usually leave this limit login attempts checked. What that does is if somebody's trying to hack into the back end of your site just by guessing a password, you can have this plugin here set up to where it will limit that. So for instance, if they type in like 3 times the wrong password, it's going to lock them out for a specified amount of time. I usually leave that checked. The rest of them, I don't worry about. My particular hosting plan has automatic backups already set up and configured. If you didn't pick that one, you can go ahead and choose this if you want. There's also some other options available for automatic backups, which we can cover later. Advanced options, you don't want to, actually, yes, you do want to change something here. Make sure these are set to auto upgrade WordPress plugins and themes. I'm going to go ahead and change this over here to any latest version, not minor versions only. The only risk here with auto updates is sometimes if there's some kind of conflict between a plugin update and the WordPress core files, you may have an error and your site could go down temporarily, in which case there would be some technical troubleshooting to do to fix it. That is not very common. I've been doing this for quite a few years now, and it's really very uncommon, but it could happen. But that is also why I chose the plan with the automatic backups already enabled, because then if there is an issue, you simply go choose the last working version, and within a few clicks you got your website back up and going. Regardless, I'm going to auto update everything. Otherwise, you have to go into the WordPress dashboard and manually do it. I'm going to leave these set here like it is, this automated backup section, because I already have that enabled in my hosting account. Not going to select a theme at this time. We'll do that from within the dashboard. All we're going to do is finish getting this installed here. Let's go ahead and click install. And this is going to take a bit. So while this is installing, that actually went really quick. So after it's installed, you should see a screen very similar to this, and it just tells you it's been successfully installed at easybuild.works in my case. So this second link here, whatever domain you use, it's going to have your domain first and then /wp-admin/. What this link is the takes you to the back end or the dashboard of your WordPress installation. So I'm going to click that, and it should automatically log me in, which it did. All right, so WordPress is now installed on your site. And if you go to the front end of your site, just the easybuild.works without the WP admin, this is what users are going to see. They're not going to see your dashboard. So I'm just going to refresh this, and there we go. So WordPress is installed. This is just a default theme. We're going to change all of this throughout the tutorials here. So what I usually do, you can go ahead and close your Softaculous screen there, or your cPanel screen. When I'm working on a site, I like to personally have a tab open for the front end of the site here, and then one in the back. And as you'll see throughout this, you'll pick up on the reasons why. It's just a lot easier and quicker for certain things. So I'm going to leave that up there. We're going to head back to the dashboard here. And the first thing I want to do is add a new user. Go down here to users, all users. And usually I do this during the installation process. But in this case, I just left the default auto-generated username and password in there just to show you guys how to add a new user if you want to down the road. This is where you do it from. So here is that auto-generated user. Click on Add New User. And just go through here and fill all this out. There's 2 required fields here. You can either use the auto-generated password or back out of it or erase it and type your password here. Obviously, that's not going to be my password. So type in whatever you want in these fields, whether or not you want an email for documentation sent to you. The role here is very important. You want this, if you're using this for yourself, you want this to be an administrator account. That gives you full access to everything in the dashboard. Otherwise, depending on which level here you pick, you'll be limited on what you can and can't do in the dashboard. And this is for other functions, depending on what you're using your site for down the road. We'll get into those at some other point in time. For right now, if you are adding a different user, make sure they're an administrator. Next, we're going to go through some settings before we get into any adding any content or design features or anything of that nature. I always go through these settings over here on the left-hand side and make sure everything is how I want it. Some of these we're going to leave alone, but we will make a few changes here. So go ahead and click on the Settings General tab. Okay, and as I was explaining during the installation process when we were in the cPanel dashboard, this is where you can change your site title or your tagline at any point in time. So if you ever want to alter that, you just come back here and change it. If you decide you want a subdomain or like the www part in front of your domain, you can add it here. You just need to make sure that they match in both of these boxes right here. I don't recommend using that, but you can if you want. These are pretty self-explanatory. Unless you have some kind of membership site, leave this box unchecked. That's a little bit more advanced, and it's not something we're going to cover in this tutorial. Right here, you can go through and change your time zone and date format and time format. This is just personal preference here. When writing a blog post, WordPress will naturally or inherently include some metadata, which usually includes the date and time of your post. So that's what this is referring to. So this is whatever your personal preference is. So go ahead and set these how you want and click Save Changes. All right, moving on to the Settings and then Writing tab. This is not something I usually mess with right here. So let's go to Reading, and same way there. I'm not going to change anything. Okay, on the Discussion tab, this is where I make some new changes. On this site, I am not allowing people to submit comments on new posts. I am also going to check this box here. Users must be registered and logged in to comment. And also down here, comment must be manually approved. Between those 3, we shouldn't have any issues with comments showing up. Go ahead and click Save Changes. Media, this is just discussing your thumbnail sizes and things of that nature. I'm not going to change any of those settings. Permalinks is where we will change something. This simply refers to page name structure and how your web address will appear for different pages and posts that you might create, and that's what's going to show up here. By default, I have the day and name option selected. That's not real helpful when it comes to SEO or search engines being able to index your sites and sort through content. I prefer either the post name or custom structure here, and more often than not, use the custom structure because I like to also include the category. So we're going to highlight this, just delete all that. And you can see they have several available tags. We're going to click category and post name. What that'll do, as you see later when we create posts, you got to assign posts to a certain category, or you pick a category. And so this structure here will automatically add the category name before the post name. So that is good for SEO and just generally organizing your content. So we're going to leave that with category and post name. Go down here to save changes. Okay, back to the settings menu under privacy. We are not going to do anything here. What will happen here as we create a privacy page, we can come back here and assign it to this particular setting here. Lightspeed cache. All that is a caching mechanism, simply speeds up your website. We're not going to mess with that right now. Everything is on. This was installed by default. We're going to leave that alone.
If you want to learn how to quickly and easily build your own website or online store from start to finish, join us at easybuild.works. Hope to see you there.